Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Sri Muji Baba Ki Jai. Where should we start? Let's go to Salah.
Namaste. Thank you, Father. I wanted to share because just expose and share with you. Just yesterday I came to this place where I'm at right now. It's a mosque, and and I've just been here since last night, and it's been very beautiful, but at the same time there's still so many like things coming up, like disbelief and just like judging people and like thinking they're weird, or like the whole like God thing is very weird or like abstract, like I don't know, just like disbelief, a lot of doubt and disbelief. I just wanted to put it. I didn't know what to do. I felt to share it.
What is a compelling message? What is a compelling message that comes in the head?
What is an accompanying?
Compelling. A compelling message? A strong message which comes in the head, which you feel like is unavoidable, that you have to believe.
Something like God isn't, I can't see God, or I can't like grab God, so like he must not exist or something like that. It's not, I don't like sense it with my senses and everything, so it has to be non-existent or something like that.
Okay, let's see if we can, a simple metaphor is coming. So you put on the computer, no? In the computer there's a computer game. Now, if in the game the idea comes that only this game exists and there is nothing outside of it, and we have been trained to believe that, then you feel like, okay, if it is not in the game, then it can't be real. But when it is asked, so where are you? Oh, but so let's say all of this realm of perceptions is that computer game. Now, if the player actually checks, where are you? Where are you now? You notice that the game depends on you. The witnessing of the game, without you, the game cannot be witnessed, isn't it? So the game depends on you, the Leela depends on you, Maya depends on you. Because you cannot testify to an experience unless you are there to experience it. You see? But where is the experiencer itself? Now the mind says the mind is the programming in the game itself. But hey, I am designed to tell you that if you are not in the game, then you don't exist. You see, so the mind it is the narrator of the programming. It is the narrator within the game. Obviously cannot reach out of the game and meet you, the player, see, the one who is playing, the one who's witnessing, the one who's playing the game. So that is your direct insight that you're coming to. And you as the player, you as consciousness, has complete freedom to choose. You see, you as the game character, so suppose the game has a character which represents you, that character obviously does not have any freedom and therefore no free will or anything like that. But you as consciousness, I'll just mute everyone and bring us back in a moment. So the mind or the narrator in the game is designed to report on the apparent condition of the game character, not of you, the one that is playing. You see, your intuition, your heart is always telling you this, that you are not just this character in the game. You are not this bundle of perceptions, this bundle of food. You are that which is beyond. Now, what is our task? Is our task now to try and convince ourselves? Which aspect of us could we convince?
Just the character.
See, just the mind where you can be convinced this way or you can be convinced that way. See? So if you're convinced about something, then I say, no, my friend, I feel like you've got this wrong. Let me present the alternative perspective. And if I present it well enough, you may switch your perspective from this side of conviction to the other side of conviction. You see? But in your heart, in your intuition, there is no such play of opposites happening, isn't it? You see? So this is a tip for everyone. This is very important. We must stop making one side, you see, of our head, the right side or the spiritual side or the true side, and the other side, the egoic side, the personal side. It is not true like that. The mind can also play as if it can be spiritual and it can be personal, but this is not true. Spirituality is to leave these limited constructs about ourselves, not trying to make me more spiritual or me live in the right way or something like that. But in the absence of identity, which is me, in the absence of that, there is a greater truth which is apparent to you. It's apparent to you, and over there, you don't need any convincing. See? You don't even need clarity. See? Try to make your heart unclear. Anyone with an unclear heart? Anyone whose heart is confused? Whose intuition is confused? Anyone like that? If you notice for yourself but are feeling shy to come up, you see, when you're feeling like I'm a bit confused in my heart itself, notice that that is a mind trick and your confusion is a result of some belief in identity, notion, an idea. So that is not the heart. Where these opposites are not possible, where it is not possible for you to oscillate, see, that is your heart. So it may seem like for consciousness, it may seem like you're oscillating a bit between head and heart, but in the heart itself, you cannot oscillate. And in the head, there are millions of ways to oscillate, from idea to idea, from concept to concept. You see? So if you have an idea, or even if it proposes it to be a state or something like that, which is just conceptual, then don't try to get to that point. See, leave the instrument which is providing you these measurements about how free you are or how not free you are. See, what is judging your state? So these things are happening. These things are happening. Who is saying this is not free enough for you? You should be freer than this. Mind itself. No? The voice of bondage is pretending to be our friend in the journey of freedom. See? And if we make that our guide, then you don't listen to your true guide, which is your heart itself. So trust the silence of the heart more than you trust the holiest words of the mind. See, trust even the silence of the heart much more than even the holiest words of the mind. That is trust. That is trust. Otherwise, if it's in the mind and is rational, mind means rationality, intellect, all of these judgments, interpretations, then there's no trust needed. It's already sounding rational to you, so you're believing it. What is the trust in that? Trust is beyond rationality. If it is rational, then everybody would follow anyway. So to go to your heart is to go beyond your rationality. And the Zen masters have utilized that over centuries to point you in ways which are completely beyond the intellect, therefore, to the mind, completely irrational sounding. So let the mind say all of this, oh, God is not here, God is not like this, God can't be this, can't be informed, has to be formless, you see, can't be formless, has to be form, any of these opposites. Just throw the whole load of them out. In the sense, not that they can stop coming, but throw the load of them out from your grasping, from your belief.
Yes, yes.
Without that, how would you struggle? Suppose the mind says, then that was quick. He vanished from the Zoom. I'm done. Bye. See ya. Probably had some technical. He's back.
Sorry about that. Someone had just called me. Sorry.
Yes, yes. Show me a confused heart. I want to meet a confused intuition. So any confusion then must be where? Only conception. Any problem? The intuition has some problem? Is for intuition, is there a practical world? Or in the mind's words, a real world? Does it have these categories? Does it divide life in these ways? Oh, the right way to do in satsang is like this, but the right way to do in the market is like that, and the right way to do with my friends in the bar is like this. And does it have? Does intuition have these categories? It's very alive, no, very fresh. Exactly, spontaneous, very fresh. If you had a magic lunch box, which is always full of food, you may finish it, but automatically it just refreshes. It just, full again. So then would you go around looking for food? But that is symptomatic of our lives when we've not really visited our intuition and we relied so much on the mind, because the mind is always grasping for solutions and answers. First, it makes up these make-believe problems. Then it solves them. It's like most of the viruses, computer viruses. By the end of there was a whole period where computer viruses were a very big thing. So by the end, most of the antivirus companies were making the virus, so their business could still be there. So make the problem, convince you of the problem first, and then say, this is what we need to do to solve it. Do like this, do like that. This is not good. This is good. All this nonsensical solving of non-existent problem. It's in the mind. What is the problem that your heart has?
It has no problem, but there's still a little bit of, I would say, like, there's still a little bit of holding what you said, like, what you said a bit earlier about the mind. Like it says, like it has these two, like the left and the right, like has these,
Yeah.
like I'm still like, it's still kind of holding that a little bit.
Yes, yes. So stop. Just stop. To spot it is to stop it. To spot it, to notice it, is all that you need to do, is all that you can do. What else will you send in there besides you notice something, you see that it makes you suffer. Drop it. The mind's idea that you will be lost without it. The mind's idea that you will be lost without it, and that therefore these popular categorizations of which the mind itself makes, that all this is all right for satsang and your spirituality, but you need me for the real world. There's a big bad world out there, and you need me. I'm your best friend. You can't do without me, me. Like that scene in Revolver, I don't know if you've seen. Mind's voice, me. You can't do without me. What is the trouble with dropping into the heart? What is the trouble?
Switching of identity between the mind and the heart and the mind. Yeah. Leaving the mind and then switching.
Yeah, but you switch out of the false. See? Switch the false off. And then the truth is apparent. No, you don't need to switch on the truth. It's so beautiful. It's like you've been looking out of your front door, waiting for God to come. See? All you have to do is close the door and see what's already in your house. It's not that God has to appear, truth has to appear, self has to appear. Nobody's ever lost the self. Even the seeker is built up on the self itself. I am seeking is built up on I am. You see, and I am is built up on I. So the truth is never gone anywhere. It's just that we've been looking in the wrong direction with the wrong instrument. You see? Are you still trying to convince yourselves of something? Conviction is just another name for belief. A strong belief is called a conviction. And there's no belief which you can guaranteed hold on to. But try what happens when you're empty. How many are still waiting to be convinced? Only one day, if I convince myself I am Brahman, as it says in the Ribu Gita, I just have to read it 55 times and be convinced that I am Brahman. Then I am free. Doesn't work like that. You don't have to do any of that, actually. Do you have to be convinced about your existence? Do you have to be reminded about it? Just exist. And do you have to be reminded, now this is a bit subtler, do you have to be convinced that it is your existence? I exist. It's naturally you. No? Isn't this apparent to you? Not in your head. Don't try to understand it. But isn't your existence apparent to you? And that it is your existence, you that exists. Isn't that apparent?
Yes, yes. I try to like you said, understand and figure out with my mind so hard.
Yeah.
Like so
The head cannot do this. Try to make your head understand existence. There's a whole branch of philosophy called ontology, metaphysics, which is trying to figure out existence. Thousands of years. They made no progress. Zero. Every idea has been refuted and the refutation has been refuted. Can't do it with the head. You see? So just because we've invested $1 million in our head, do we want to continue to invest whatever else we have also on that? Just to try and make that investment work out. It's called good money chasing bad money. So when you realize your mistake, you must stop. I've tried to make it work this way. I've tried to find myself this way. I've tried everything. I've tried inquiry. I've tried chanting. I've tried all Hatha Yoga. I've tried every type of practice there ever was. You see? I don't seem to get it in my head. You see? But I have moments of clarity where it is the no mind, no head. You see? But the no head is possible right now. Nobody can force you to go to the head or believe the head. Attention can still go, it's okay. What thought has to come that consciousness then has to bow down and say, yes, my master, you are the truth? What thought has to come like that? You see, I make these extreme illustrations to show you what actually seems like, oh, this thought was so strong, it got me. You reported that, no? All of you reported that in the past. This thought was so strong that it got me. But what are you really saying? I, as consciousness, had to bow down to this thought because the thought was so strong. It was bigger than me at that time. And I, as consciousness, had to bow down. Because the power of belief rests only with consciousness. It cannot belong to a person who doesn't exist. You see? So when Nisargadatta Maharaj used to say, integrity is very important. Integrity is very important. What did he imply? He meant that admit that in you as consciousness, there's an aspect which still is interested or wants to play in that playground of whatever the mind is trying to solve. You see? Whether that is relationships or money or freedom or body or whatever the playground may be. And check for yourself who really is interested in that. What difference will it make to your reality? What actually will change about what you truly are? And you notice that all these nurtured conditioning from the past, which seems to then have a gravitation pull for these thoughts and identities, starts to go away. But don't say that I'm forced to believe my thought. Because the one who could be forced does not exist. And the one that is too big to be forced. You see? The one that could be forced, like there could be, the mind could be strong and say, oh yes, 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 you are the voice of the truth. You see? Mr. Mind, you are speaking the truth. That one doesn't even exist. Like a grain of sand, it is not. And the one that is, the one that does exist, I am. Being, consciousness, I amness. What can force that? Produce such a thought. Produce such a thought that your being has to bow down to it inherently. Challenge your mind. Produce such a thought. And you notice that in that representation is your deepest attachment as the false. So, what to do when this attachment comes into your light? Just by coming into your light, it may be losing its power. See? It may be losing its power. But if you feel like it's still potent, it makes you dance every time it comes, then surrender or inquire. See? Either you surrender it, if you are of a devotional temperament, surrender it and say, not my problem. It is my master's problem or God's problem. If not, if you don't feel like that surrender really applies in your case, then inquire. Who is suffering from this? Who wants this? Who's the protagonist of this story? So many pointers have been given to you, thousands and thousands over so many satsangs. Use any of those tools and inquire into it till the notion becomes laughable. Notion becomes laughable. But most of you, I have to say that you've been in satsang, and I feel like you can just notice it and just. But it's not a competition. Like, don't have a idea of yourself as a very super advanced spiritual seeker. Therefore, you should just be able to see and blow up thoughts like Terminator or something. You don't have to get to some super advanced level skill or something. Just go with your intuition about these things. If you feel like just you're noticing doesn't take the juice out of it, doesn't take the sting out of it, then inquire or surrender. So what I've said now is basically the encapsulation of, if you can call this a path, starting from Bhagwan, then that is the encapsulation of that path. Now the mind will come and say, but, which is the knocking from the mind. And I want you all to really play on my side now. Because the mind is coming with the same old stuff. Same old stuff. You've seen and played with and seen that movie 100 times. Then you should be able to just playfully tell the mind, no, this is gone. Come up with some fresh material. You know? How long will you suffer from the same stuff? I mean, come on, if you're a Sangha, then at least let's make the mind work hard for its suffering. How long are we going to dance to the same tunes? Oh, no, but it can't be that simple. Oh, no, but there is nothing to hold on to there. Oh, no, but when I go into my work, I see my boss. Come on, we played with this stuff. Oh, when my girlfriend calls me, you see, then same stuff. Let's at least go to the mind and say, come on, is that all you got? That's all you have. Same old tricks. At least come up with some new magic. I want to hear a problem which is not about relationships, about security, therefore work, money, security, all of these things. It is not about the body and sensations in the body and whatever else. And it is not about spirituality or our conceptual ideas of freedom and what states freedom should bring and what should happen to me after I'm free and all that spiritual me nonsense. You see, so these four things are. Anybody who has a question, and I'm going to come to all of you, the hands up also, don't worry. I'm just challenging you a bit. Who has a question which is beyond these four things? Okay, we'll go to her.
Hello, Father. I think I do have this kind of question.
Yes.
It does not involve all these four.
Okay, can we recap the four? The first is relationships.
Yes, not relationships.
Not about relationships.
Not money, not body, and not
spirituality.
Not spirituality. It's something I've been maybe observing lately, and it came, I don't know, like I'm looking at something and I don't know what I'm looking at. Like before I would call it a person, like a feeling, like energetic, almost like feel. I don't know, those are just the words. I just don't know how to describe. I'm looking at it as something, it would, as me maybe, I don't know, some like aliveness, something. And I'm looking from it to it from some like a deeper space.
Yes. Very good. This is exactly the kind of question I want. So there's a sense of, what do you call it, beingness? Like a beingness, what we usually call beingness?
Before I used to call like all my life a person. I would call it like that, automatically, without even questioning.
I have often spoken about this, and you've probably heard me say this, but I don't know if you remember this. But the mind's greatest trick. The mind's greatest trick is to try and convince God that it is a person. You see? So convince consciousness itself, of course, not really, but play as if. See? Play as if, to get consciousness to play as if it is limited and it is a person. And so many who come to Satsang, they hear that we must get rid of the ego has to die. And the mind has convinced us that it is the being itself, the presence of God itself is the ego. And we are trying to get rid of that. You see? So it's like, whatever I'm trying, I'm still here. And of course, in Satsang, we say, you must go. You see, this is not the you that has to go. You This is the presence of consciousness itself. Are you getting? The sense of being, I am. You say, I woke up. I woke up. You see, now when you woke up, this light of waking state is going to be there. You see, so you see the mind's trickery in that, to try and convince you that that which itself is the substratum for the waking state has to go for you to be free. That is the person that the sages are talking about. That has to go. You see? So this beingness or aliveness or consciousness is the light of the waking state or dream state, whatever you call this state. Is the light in which it happens. In sleep state, you don't cause yourself any trouble. Absolutely fine. But in the light of consciousness, if you make consciousness itself the enemy, which is the mind's ultimate trick to convince you that it is unbeatable, you see, and say, this must go. So the master said, you must go. The mind says, yeah, you, the presence. This is the only time it is pointing you to the presence. And say, this light, this being has to go. That is the person that has to go. That is not personal. It has no boundary. It has no limitation. It has no want. It has no aversion. It has no time. It has no space. It is not born and it does not die in the way that we think. See? But imagine our life if we convince ourselves, in this play of Leela, of course, none of it is too serious. But imagine our life if we are convinced that that itself is the problem. God said, I am that I am. But the mind said, I am is the problem. You see, this is the person. This is his defense to spirituality. You see? The trickiest defense it picks up to spirituality is to convince you that your presence itself is the problem. Your being itself is the problem. But this is the light of God itself. It requires no working from the mind. This is what I mean when I say, can you stop being? This is beingness. This is the divine presence of divinity in your heart. The holy light of consciousness. You see. And you are right. You're right that even beyond this you are. Because you are aware even of this beingness, light.
So that's where maybe, I'm sorry, maybe that's where not that I got confused, but like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
I'm looking at something that is empty. So the one, and it's like, so I don't know, somehow in the mind it became like a confusion. So how many of me are there? Like I don't know.
This one of you. This one of you. So it's the same I, which then manifests as I am. Therefore, then that which was purely unmanifest, then can play in its manifest aspect, I amness. But the I remains unchanged. Even when I am, the flower flowers, the plant remains unchanged, or the tree remains unchanged. The flower flowers. I am. You see? Now this flower has a lot of trouble-causing petals, one of which is the ability to identify that which we call belief. You see? It has everything. Every petal is a petal of this flower. So one of them is the ability to take itself to be something that it is not. You see? So then it says, I am beyond or not this flower, but I am just this bee or wasp or something. It identifies with something that is just in the realm of its perception. And in that, so what happened to the original tree? Nothing happened. You are the same as you were in your sleep state. That same reality which could not be touched by anything appearing in the dream. You see, you are that same reality. So you have not changed. It's just that you put on some shiny clothes, which is beingness. You see? You put on these shiny clothes, and in the light of which, in the shine of which, it seems like this whole universe takes birth or is on the screen. You see?
Yes.
You see?
But
Now, anything may come in the light of which, but it cannot hurt the light.
But then maybe something I want to bring
Yeah.
to you as well, that I've noticed as well, like maybe I collected, or willingly or unwillingly, some like concepts of the enlightenment, something, and as well started maybe come up more than usual. And I'm like, this is more like observing going on, but I see that they quite alive. It's like, I don't know where they come from even.
Yes.
So just
Let
leave
them
it this.
all get released. Let them all get released this way. Because I want to tell you that the light of your being is the same today as when you were an infant. You see? It cannot be magnified. It cannot be amplified. So enlightenment as a notion, you see, it's just to recognize this light which is always there, or at least as long as there is the play of the waking state.
What happens to this being in the dream state?
Same.
What is it?
The very same. Like this could be a dream, isn't it? Yeah. So you cannot really, it's just again a way of categorizing where we say waking state and dream state. You could actually have one name. Way dream state. Let's call it way dream state. It's the same. Okay? Because the being itself doesn't have any quality except belonging to I. The I am itself is just amming. It doesn't have any other quality which makes it individualized in some way. So it's the same amness. And the I obviously is the same one. So what shines in its light, now we call that dream. There we call this dream. You see? So let's come up with a new term for it. Let's just say deep sleep and way dream state. Rather than separating between waking state and dream state. Because there's a subtle attempt on the mind to give more value to this right now. You see, that's why we call this waking.
Why is it called the dream state?
This the subtle attempt on the mind to give this more value than that.
Vedanta also called.
Yeah, so with Hatha also we can have concept. Every teaching is full of concept.
It's just that I remember that it was just useful to see, to show you that just as that dream one goes, this too is, there's no difference. Because we
are the
feel
Vedanta
it
lawyer
comes
also.
and goes. Yeah. I felt the lawyer comes out. I felt it. But I mean, I remember using that concept to see that this is exactly the same.
What's important is, and I'll be the Vedanta lawyer for a moment, what's important is that Vedanta is the one philosophy which does not distinguish your reality depending on any of these states. So our job is to find that, our apparent job is to find that which is constant across all of these states, including the sleep state. Yes, my dear. Clarified?
I don't know, something like I'm observing something.
Yes.
And maybe I see that maybe there is some momentum to something,
Yeah.
but then it feels like it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So satsang actually is just the playful attempt to value that which is observing more than that which is observed. See? So when we say the company of the truth, and the truth is defined with as that which does not come and go. So the company of the truth, the Satsang, the truth in the company of, you see, is to just give more value for at least this much time to that which is witnessing all that comes and goes instead of valuing that which is witnessed. See? And how long do you have to be in satsang? All the time that you're not sleeping. Very short. Very short. So the attempt of the sages to point out that that which comes and goes is not real is not to try and make an aversion to that which comes and goes, but just to fix the value equation a bit and say, okay, now we valued that for too long. How about valuing that which is witnessing, that which is aware a little bit more, because that is constant. That which is witnessed is coming and going.
You know what as well? As well, those things that have been picked up during the satsang, that it is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
That who do you think you are to
some kind of superstar. You know,
yeah.
so? Yeah.
Say again, I couldn't.
No, I was saying, because you said, who do you think you are? I had to finish the lyric, which is some kind of superstar.
Yeah. And this is then, it's a doubt, Father, yes?
Just like. Not like my joke one bit. Sometimes this kind of medicine is helpful because I say, who are you? Why? What makes you so special that you should get God? Okay? So it is just poking out the spiritual seeker identity sometimes, but all medicine has certain uses depending on the existing condition. So, so you just have to wait for the heart to, share in this way, and you have to trust that. So, of course, sometimes when you hear like that, you feel like, oh, I'm too unworthy to get God, but that is not the attempt at all. That is not the attempt at all.
I'm just like,
it is just an act of the spiritual seeker identity.
Yes, I really wanted to bring this up today, like this seeker, whatever. Yeah. This yeah, all the concepts about spirituality.
Yeah.
I see that there are a lot. How to think about it.
Oh, very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, let's go to some of the fresher ones who I haven't spoken to. Let's go to Kavita. I spoke to her recently, of course, but I feel like we can share more.
Namaskar, Father.
Namaste.
So it's quite similar to what she was saying, actually, that the seeker has been part of my psyche since so long that somehow one doesn't feel that one is doing enough, or surrendering also seems to be like a process, something that one has to do, or one has to remember the consciousness that's always there.
Okay, let's try. Can you do the surrender and show me?
Yeah.
How would you do it?
I suppose the thought comes up now in my mind about
to surrender, the first step is to think.
Yeah. So the thought that comes up. What will you surrender otherwise, right?
You just have to surrender something very, very small. No? Something very, very small you have to surrender, which is the whole universe.
Yeah. But that seems like a process, like, when you
Like, oh, I surrender my body, I surrender my couch, I surrender my family, like that.
yeah, like that.
No, it's like, even that is not needed. No, actually, you are a pre-shh.
But hota nahi hai na. The mind keeps going.
Hota hai. You see, it happens. It's not that it doesn't happen. You see, but we want to understand that it happened.
No, it just feels that why am I then clinging on? Because the reality is I'm yet clinging.
Okay, try to cling. Okay. Now keep clinging, and you must keep clinging before the click also. Like keep the clinging active. Sorry, my clicker is a bit bad. Are you clinging? Make sure you're clinging.
I'm clinging.
Right now you're clinging.
Yeah.
Yeah, to tell me right now what you're clinging to.
Oh, the one who's clinging.
It's just your mind is playing with you. Just right now. You're empty, my dear. If right now you were not empty, then all of my satsang is all nonsense. You see, which it is actually, but in another way. You see? If inherently what was shining here was not complete and fresh God, you see, if inherently what was shining here was not complete and fresh God, then whole of Bhagavan saying that it's all you have to do is not get caught up in avidya when it crosses your mind. You see, the truth is already with you, but you have to fool yourself by believing your thoughts, and all of those statements of the sages will be false. I have never met one that came pre-clinged. You're free. And then what is happening is that the mind is tricking you and saying, okay, I know he's going to ask me like this, but I'm going to tell him I'm still clinging to myself or something. You see? Show me the self you're clinging to.
Doesn't exist, yeah.
Doesn't exist. How can you cling to that which doesn't exist?
But what a ride. It's like it takes you on for a ride the whole day.
Yes, but we don't know that. We don't know that as a certainty. You see? Because how many moments from today do you remember now at 6 o'clock in India? How many moments from today do you remember?
You go to the mind, there's a lot.
Yeah, but how many? Lot is what, 50, 100?
Yeah, something like that, maybe 20, 30.
20, 30, no? And how many moments has the day had?
Lots, yeah, lots more.
Lots. So what if you just had 20 moments of avidya, 20 moments of false belief, false identity, and the rest of it you were completely like a sage? That's not a bad deal.
The mind keeps beating myself up and say, you're not enough, you're not pure enough. By now you should have got it,
Exactly. So this troublemaker, no, with its narratives, will use this very, very flimsy evidence, flimsy circumstantial evidence to convince you about how bound you are. And even the spiritual ego can convince you about how free you are. See? Neither of those reports you must value. You see? So now without this instrument, which you well recognize now, called the mind, what is your heart saying?
The heart knows. I mean, it already knows. It's like it's a given.
Yeah.
It's just
So
that.
what's the problem in that?
The problem is that the heart doesn't seem to rule. I mean, it's almost like the mind is taking you different places.
Yes. And whose choice is that? Who rules is whose choice?
Actually, if there's no me, there has to be his choice only, no? That my mind is going here, there.
Exactly. And you are not him.
No.
But only he exists, no?
Yeah.
Then how can you be anything other than that? In fact, we spoke about this in today's satsang. There is no power, no powerful thought enough which can be that strong that your being, consciousness, which is God itself, can be forced to believe it.
So what is this apparent struggle that keeps going on then?
Apparent says it. You see, apparent says it well. You see, apparent is the belief in the narrative, the subtitles of the movie. Reality is empty of that narrative.
It always seems like a process. It doesn't seem like you've arrived, because even Ramana's teaching keeps saying about removing every sanskara, and you have so many.
Yeah. He said no. He said like that. It's very confusing, and I agree. We must all collectively throw a tantrum. But he said that till you are free from all your samskaras, you will not be free.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in the next question, the questioner asks, please tell me, Lord, how do I get free from all my samskaras? And he says, what? You already are. Then he say that if you continue the same from be as you are, if you continue the same conversation, he says you already are. But when you take yourself to not to be, then you play as if you are not. Don't go to your head for an evaluation of your current reality. Just for a moment. Don't go to your head for any evaluation about what is your spiritual condition or worldly condition. Nothing. It has squeezed you into this narrative of process and therefore time and all of this stuff. But without that, what is your nose saying?
Joy.
Look at that. Just few centimeters down. What is the top of your head saying?
Silence.
So few centimeters up, few centimeters down, no trouble. It's only this area. Oh, and I'm speaking not physically. Okay. But you know what you're saying. The mind seems to be in the head like this. So it's not true, it's like that, but it feels like that. So only that tiny aspect, which is saying da da da, like this, but it can seem tiny, but it's actually making you believe in constructs of time, of space, of your limitation, as if your limitation could actually happen, and then you have to do X, Y, Z to become free.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the spiritual aspect of its knowledge already is saying, oh, but that one doesn't exist, who can become free?
Yeah.
So the process is for whom it cannot say. But there has to be a process that is convinced you. Full of absurdity. Full of absurdity. If we strip it bare, you see. The process has to be reality because even Bhagavan has said everything should go.
Yeah.
But who does the process apply on? That we cannot find. So we want to do an operation, no? A surgical procedure, but the patient we can't find.
It's also like years and years of scriptures that have said you have to do this, you have to do that. There's so much of programming with this one.
Yeah, just throw it away.
Hours and hours of japa and hours of purification. And everywhere you turn, somebody's telling you to do something,
That's what sells.
Huh? Sorry?
That's what sells, my dear. That's what sells.
I thought you said that's what's hell. That's true.
It's hell also. It's true.
It just feels like a lot of programming to that, like you said, but it doesn't exist at one level. It's in the mind.
At what level does it exist?
Yeah, so the thing is that why does one believe this thought so much and doesn't want to believe the thought that, doesn't want to believe the experience that it's not real?
See, why is the attempt at causation again? So we are trying to figure out the causality and we are getting back into time, cause, therefore effect, that kind of thing. And I keep taking this example often. That's like the child saying, if there is no monster in the cupboard, then why am I feeling scared?
Yeah.
Is it a valid use of the intellect?
No.
Is it no?
It's a waste of time.
Try to look for causation in that which is timeless in reality. What's going to happen?
not
So
there.
don't solve the why question, solve the who question. There's one alphabet difference.
What's the alphabet?
In WHY and WHO, it's only one alphabet different.
Yeah.
And the mind loves the first one and hates the second one. That itself gives us a clue. The mind is trying to present the narrative in believable ways, and that's why the why question seems to be very important, because the narratives love apparent connections, you know, like this, therefore that, you see, which makes this whole illusion of time seem true.
So surrender is what that means. Like everything that comes up is not it's not me. It's you, right? That's what you say.
Everything means everything. Yes.
Everything. Like every thought, everything that's perceivable is you.
Everything that you can think about.
And so it's not mine to worry about or to think about or whatever.
Yes.
And is that a process, or is just you do it once and that's it?
Yes. You see? When you take your surrender back, then you have to surrender again, of course. So don't take it back.
Don't believe that it's taken back.
Don't believe that it's taken back, or don't believe anything at all. No? So surrender is you handed over everything.
Yeah.
Then you want to claim ownership over something. Then this is my problem really. I've handed over something, but this is really my problem. So when you do that taking back, then remember to surrender everything again. If you don't take it back, you don't have to. There's no again. You deposited something in God's locker. No?
Yeah. Yeah.
You deposited the universe in God's locker. Then you opened the locker and visited, okay, now I have to visit this relationship again, and this I have to take care of. So then you took it out of the locker, no? So if you took it out of the locker, then you have to put it back in the locker. That's all. So if you keep taking it back from the locker, then it will seem like a process. If you leave it in the locker and you don't take it back, no process, finished.
Fascinating emotions that have been created, right? It's amazing.
That is amazing to me. This whole magic of how the mind convinces that which is the light of the universe that it is this measly body mind. That's why Leela is divine magic also in itself.
Someone said we are all gods pretending to be goddamn fools.
Yes.
Acting like goddamn fools, yeah.
What do you want for yourself?
My small self. No, I just want, honestly, I just want.
What is the process thing you mentioned like a few times? So what is at the end of that process?
The sanskaras, like being free from all of them. Like not having any wants or desires that are going to constantly pull you out,
What will happen? At the end of samskaras, what will happen?
Silence will remain, right? Longer.
And what does it mean for you to have that silence?
Peace, like, freedom. It doesn't bother me if I have something, I don't have something.
Yeah.
I feel completely free of that particular craving or thought process or whatever.
And this me that will be free will be which one?
It's not like I'll be free. It's like you said, it's already free, but I'll be sitting on that throne. I mean, on that chair of freedom. I'll be sitting in the peace without being constantly, outward. I'll be able to, be there, like how, that's what I believe.
Who is this? Who will be sitting on this throne of freedom?
The I will disappear, right? He says you keep removing it till the I dissolves completely.
Yes, then who will be sitting on the throne?
Who's already there, but it won't be clouded and won't be veiled all the time. The veils will disappear. The veils will fall away. Hopefully.
Right now, she laughed. So, if I told you that that is your natural state, if you can call it a state for a moment, right now, unless you go back in the locker, thoughts about the locker will come in the 4 categories that we discussed. Just let them come and let them go. That's all. This is good because I want to take you to even subtler level.
Yes.
Now, as you are allowing them to come and go, what we call open and empty, just speak from your heart and take as much time as you want. Besides perception, in this open and empty, besides perception, what is apparent to you? Don't rush at all. Don't rush at all. It's not a test. There are no marks for fast answers. Just take your time. All of us, obviously. As you're empty, besides the realm of perception, what is apparent to you? If you can look at this. Whenever the answer arises from the heart, we can share it.
For me, it's almost like this is silence, this vastness.
Yes.
There's love. I mean, it's not an empty silence. It's beautiful. It's good.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. And you, from the same looking, stay where you are. Your position is what?
Nothingness.
Okay. Now, same place. Try to change this. Without going to the mind, allow all thoughts to come and go. Same way, open and empty. See if it is possible for you to be something other than this nothingness, as you called it, but I may call it awareness or isness or witnessing. See if something can change.
No.
That is it. We didn't have to pick a special moment to look like this. It's always like this. We just gave ourselves a little break from the head, that's all. And the highest truth in the universe is so naturally apparent to all of you. Just in that one moment of break from the head, just one moment of open and empty, it is apparent to you that you are not just these perceptions, that you are aware even of perceiving. Stay in your heart. Don't try to understand these words. The words will do the job. That you are aware even of the process of perception. And primarily, you are this awareness, and everything else that appears is just on your surface like waves. on the surface of the ocean. You are not in opposition to them. You are not attracted to them. They are just naturally playing out on your surface, and that is completely fine. But without the limiting constructs of the mind, you cannot take yourself to be just one wave, just one set of appearances. That is not what is naturally here. And because it is not naturally here, your mind has to constantly work to convince you that you are limited, you are like this, you are guilty, you are unworthy, you are free, all these ideas. But just little bit of a break from the head, and that which seems to be the highest scriptural knowledge seems like it is so obvious. Now the only trick you have to be careful about is to not insert this understanding, this insight into your head to try and make it some conceptual understanding so that you can fit it into your narrative or your story. Allow yourself to be storyless like you are here. The only reason you want to understand this now is because you want to make yourself special. Avoid that temptation. Nothing special has happened to any of you. No story can truly represent this. Don't even try. Don't try to understand. Live like this. Live from here. I promise you that you have not lost anything of value. You have only let go of your suffering. This is the end of time. This is the end of space. Trust this silence. If there is silence in the heart, trust this silence more than every conclusion from the mind, even the highest one. Don't let the silence scare you. It is just withdrawal symptoms from our story. We got used to having to draw conclusions every moment. Allow yourself to be conclusionless. Trust the silence of your heart. In the same way that you can trust its guidance also when it comes. Very good, very good.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
you.
That's really all that I'm saying. That's really all that I'm saying.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Kunal. I haven't spoken to Kunal.
Hello, Father.
Oh, my dear.
Hello. I feel like there's so much to tell you, but I want to be sure that I say the most important thing. In fact, I can't tell you anything though without going to my head. So I don't.
Tell me the most important thing in your head. That much allowance you'll get. Because I see you after a long time. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you did some magic on me. My head is feeling empty right now.
Yeah.
Nothing's coming right now for some reason. Usually I have a lot to say, but oh my gosh.
Enjoy this. Enjoy this. Enjoy this.
Yeah.
Don't try to push it away. Enjoy this. It's okay. We have all the time. Yeah, all the time. If something has to emerge, it can emerge from the heart as well. And don't ever feel like you would have missed an opportunity by not exposing what is in the head. A moment spent with your heart is worth much more than whatever the head could have said.
Maybe someone else can speak, Father, because I don't want to take up the time, but it was very nice to see you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't rush back to the head at all. Just, this is beautiful. Enjoy it.
Okay.
In fact, it's very nice to hear this report because many times I just feel like after these tiny sort of guidance sessions, it just feels like, how do you still have a question? How do you still have a... There's not any pressure on those of you who have your hands up. Sometimes I just wonder like that. Okay, let's hear from Rikus.
Hello.
Oh, my dear.
Hello.
Good to hear from
Yes. Yeah, you this short guidance. Now the question get a little bit to the side, but I can still ask the question.
Yes.
It's pretty similar to the guidance actually, because I recognize the last weeks that it's really maybe the most important thing is not to use the wrong instrument.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then of course, when the seeker starts to do its job and starts not to use the wrong instrument, there emerge like two ways. The one way, what I do often is pretty similar to the guidance you did. So just let everything come and go and don't interact with the thoughts and don't use thoughts, so not feed this thought process.
Yes, exactly.
And yeah, let me.
What is the other way? That's what I'm curious about.
Yes. So with this way I've just described, there I don't know really what happened, if it's belief or if it's attention what goes away from the thoughts. maybe it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. The other way is that I keep my attention, keep my vigilance more at the thoughts, and then by some grace and by some time, the belief is not so strong or not there and not there anymore.
I see what you're saying. It's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's completely fine. Either of those, because in either you're not identifying with the thought.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever feels more natural to you, you can just stay with that.
Okay. Because with this
So the difference I'm hearing is one is a little bit of a one. The second one is more of an active observation where attention is actively being used to just observe, but make sure you're not believing like that. And the second is a bit more relaxed, to just
yes.
If attention goes, it's okay. If it doesn't go, it's okay. You see, I'm more of this kind, I feel. But if the second feels more natural, it's fine too.
Okay. Yeah, because with the second, with the attention on the thoughts, I if it really works well, then the realization comes that this so-called person is just thought. And this is really beautiful experience to see that no person, it's just thoughts flowing through the head or the body. And with these just let come and go and surrender more and don't interact, this first way, somehow this deep I thoughts, I don't see so good in comparison to the way when I really have my attention on this deep I thoughts. And that's why there, with the first way, just let come and go, there it's not so good seen that the person is just thought. And that's why sometimes there is some belief in the person, and though the truth is there, but there sometimes the person rocking in more strongly. I don't know.
Yes. So I would feel like I said, as long as you're not believing, it is fine. But what I noticed here, and your report actually brought up some memory of this, is that here at least what happened is that as belief started getting withdrawn, then I noticed that the attention to thought was also not as strong as it used to be. See, so with belief getting withdrawn, with the interest reducing, it just felt like there was not so much attention also going to the thought. But it doesn't have to necessarily play out like that in every expression of consciousness. At least from here, if memory is presenting the right things, then I can report that it seemed to have happened like this, that as belief got withdrawn, then attention was not so easy to keep on thoughts also. It just is here more natural to allow attention to be natural and go wherever it likes.
Yes.
Control it in some way.
Yes. Yeah.
So stay with your heart, stay with whatever feels natural, you see. And it can be moment to moment. Sometimes you may want to do an active observation of the mind and just allow it to come and go. And sometimes you'll just be like super relaxed about it and it'll come and go. Whatever your heart guides you is fine.
So both is fine. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. And one thing. So you say we don't even have to convince ourselves that we are that awareness. What we recognize when we let come and go, of course. But in my case, often it's like there is first awareness and person, so both. And then there is a thought, I am this awareness. And then I kind of know I am that. Is that wrong?
Well, we can look together. So at least in my experience, I never found any tangible person of any sort, any sort of qualitative person. I did not actually find.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Identification with the body, I would mean, say then, okay. Yeah.
So, this is a good point. So, body is really just a word, but what we mean is probably the perception of like this and the sensations that we experience. You see, this is what we call the body. Now, just in the perception of it, there's no identification, isn't it? Let's look closely at this, because many of us may believe that just in the perception of the sensations that we call the body, that is identification. No, perception will be there. You see? But identification is to take yourself to be that sensation, or yourself to be something that is contained in these sensations. You see? So that would be an identification, and for that we definitely need to believe in some thought.
Yes. There's no identification with these body sensations right now.
Exactly. So in fact, there is no distinction that just naturally is made in pure perception between this body, that body, the space between bodies, the couch. All these are labels that just come from the mind later.
Yes.
But we don't place ourselves naturally as within one container and not in another container. You see, actually that whole container idea is nonsense.
Yes. Yeah, maybe then I'm wrong, and then I just make the mistake sometimes that I have the experience of being awareness. And this can't be true, or because awareness is not an experience. Or?
Well, okay, so experience is a broad term. You can never experience awareness with any phenomenal quality, and never can you experience a person also with any phenomenal quality.
Yes. Yeah. There's some confusion is right now here.
Confusion in the head is fine. It's good actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and
can you allow yourself to have opposite constructs without buying too seriously into either of them? That is freedom. You don't have to settle into some conclusion, some truths. The mind is saying, oh, the world is bad. The mind is saying the world is good. How does it matter so much what the mind is saying? You don't have to conclude. So let both dance. Let both ideas dance. How does it matter? Confusion is what? If you really look at confusion, what is confusion? Trying to squeeze out the truths in this dance of contradictions. You don't have to do all that. Without the attempt to do that, you would not conclude that I'm confused. Without that attempt to try and cull out some truthiness from this play of opposites, you would not conclude you're confused. You would just say these thoughts are pretty erratic. 1 second it's about the opposite of what it is the next second. So confusion is a diagnosis of yourself that you're making based on like how consciousness is playing at that moment, wanting to squeeze out some juice which is true from this interplay of opposites and therefore naturally not true. So that whole squeezing attempt is not worth it. Just leave that whole playground. Leave that juice bar or whatever. Is it apples or oranges? Do I want apples or oranges? Do I want apples or oranges? Is it? Like we can get confused like that. Very simple. Like apple, oranges. Apple, apple a day keeps the doctor away. Orange is so refreshing. You just like that is confusion. Of course, you will use some spiritual concepts instead of apples and oranges. But just like this. Do I inquire or surrender? What is best for me? Inquiry? Confused. You're still looking for some truth either way. Just drop both. Like, don't worry about either. Can there be confusion without your attempt to find some truth? Can there? And the looking for is the play of bondage. Therefore, spiritual seeking is the play of bondage. And so is the conclusion to the opposite, which is that I found. In both the protagonist is the false one. Like, have you found the truth or are you still seeking? So if you start looking for truth in that way, that is confusion. Is it? Don't look for conclusions when you cannot be in any confusion. I'm just speaking in rhyme today. If you're not looking for a conclusion, can you be confused? And what does a conclusion mean? Is this stuff only fun for me or you? What does a conclusion mean?
I understood something.
Yeah, you got some truth about something. What is understanding? That you got some truth about something.
Now I know this.
I know this. What is I know this? I found some reality about something, some truth about something. And if that attempt was not there to grasp, you'd be free. So that's the simplest way to describe freedom. Like that. How can you be confused? If you don't enter your mind, can you be confused? Okay. So suppose now the only way to get confused is to enter the mind. Now just with attention to mind, can you get confused? You can observe this. It's just with attention. No relating, no believing, no identifying. Just attention. Not possible. So in the report about being confused, we are stepping away from both the things that he talked about. One is like the active observation of the mind, and the second is just a relaxed openness. You see, now we are talking about neither. We have gone into the playground, which is now like the war zone. When we enter the playground with our belief, it goes from playground to war zone. So now we made it a war zone. When you enter without the belief, you're just looking at it. It's fine. It's a playground. But there's actually no need to even look. It's fine. If you end up looking, it's fine. But there's no actual need. Why look at what's happening in the playground unless you plan to enter it? There's actually no need. You can live in your heart. No trouble. Lifetimes. Of course, you may have this idea that if I live in my heart, this is my last life. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing will force you into the next lifetime. Simple or confused?
There's a little
Not
bit of
simple or
seeking.
not confused. Very simple.
There's a little bit of seeking.
Seeking.
So to be.
But look at him so innocently saying this little bit of seeking. Who's doing it? Many makhan khaya types.
When they're
you only khaya the makhan.
Very obvious. What I meant to say. What I meant to say was just in this in your guidance right now went to experientially to a point where it was.
Oh, it was.
It is, but somehow, that's that sense of complete openness where even the sensations of the body disappeared and it was just, this infinite.
So this one baited you, no? The idea of complete openness.
Yeah, and then
You don't get baited by
now
it.
it's gone. It's sort of gone.
It did a full bait and switch.
It's gone. And then there's a seeking to go back.
See, that's what the bait and switch is like. It baits you with a seemingly helpful thing. This is nice, but where is the complete openness? And you went back, then you're back in the war zone. Forget complete. Huh? Bait and switch. Like you bait someone, they come, I've got some chocolate cake for you, but when they come, slap. It's called the bait and switch. So the mind baits you like that. Come, yeah, I'm taking you to higher than this. Higher, complete openness. Complete. Come. But what happened? Even that openness which was there, which you said incomplete, gone. Back into solving, back into problem, back into head, back into seeking, like you said. So leave that. If you had no idea about how it is meant to be, you would allow yourself to meet fresh God. See, the mind says this should go, that. Even this sensation is not there. You see, all this, it takes the highest idea. But that's why I said, trust your silence of the heart much more than the highest notion from the head. It has no idea about this. It has no idea. It's okay.
It's very obvious that something is not accepting that much obviousness. This is something. Same thing.
Correct. This is the trump card we talked about. Because many of us, this is the Leela, part of the Leela. It seems like most who are drawn to this satsang, most, not all, have had years of search, years of inquiry, years of sadhana, years of thing, and they come here and they just listen to this and they just like, I can't argue with it. It's apparent. Just following the words in satsang or just being in satsang, it's apparent. But this can't be it. You see, this can't be it. This is too simple. I've been inquiring for so many years. Yeah.
I'm holding on to that every time. So, see, that's simple. No, it can't be.
It is.
Again, going back.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Simpler than simplest. How much effort you need to be to exist? With how much effort are you holding up existence? And to be aware of this existence. Not true. Okay, very good. Anything else, my dear? Good? Okay, we can go to the next one. Okay, now we can go in order. Let's go to Madalena.
Hello, Father. It's Madalina and Kalina.
And Kalin, yes, hello. So good.
How are you?
Very good.
Thank you.
You
Kalin
want to
had the
say hi to
question.
everyone? Kalin can
Sorry? Yes, we can say hello.
say your Bangalore family is.
Anna. Anna. Okay. Hello. Oh, beautiful. Love, love. You have a free space for us. Hello. Anna, say hello. Swamiji, we love you. We love you all.
Even former flatmates are here.
Very formal Swamiji, yes. Love you all. Thank you. And thank you to the online Sangha as well. It's a good moment now to share that today is Good Friday in the Orthodox Church and we celebrate Jesus.
Today is Friday?
For us, yes, it's 1 week later.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. May His grace imbibe our hearts and be always with you and with us all.
Good.
Father,
Yes.
I have a question, which I'm not sure. How do you self-inquire?
How do you self-inquire? Self-inquiry basically uses the simple question, who am I? So you just start with that question, who am I? And then some answer may appear in your head, what we call the mind. This is familiar to you? When we say like that, a thought arises. So instead of going with the thought or believing what the thought is saying, you ask yourself what witnesses or who witnesses even that thought. You see, so you don't settle for a conceptual answer. You don't settle for an answer from the mind, and you keep asking what is witnessing even that thought. Then you will notice that an answer becomes clear, but it is not a thought. That is the fruit of the self-inquiry. We may later talk about it and say, yes, I discovered myself, or I found that I was awareness, or I am awareness. But actually the answer is beyond these words. And that is why self-inquiry helps us go from the head, which is mental answers, to the heart, which is not the physical heart, but our intuitive center. So when you inquire, the instructions are very simple. You just start with, who am I? And then whatever answer comes, don't get into the content of the answer so much. Just find out what watches or who watches even this thought. Who is watching this? So that's very simple self-inquiry. And if you try it out, then you report back to me when we meet next, yes? And then yes, and I see you next time. Only if you feel to try. There is no rush. There is no rush.
And do you want to share with Father your conclusion of the satsang? Kalin said to me that he is very happy that he came to see you because now he realizes he's not just the body. So
beautiful, so good. Very good. Full love, full blessings to all of you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
We love you.
You're not far from the heart.
Maybe one is that.
Well, that's what I meant actually. I knew she'll hear it. I had a prediction that she's going to hear it. Like, and I went, you're in the heart. You're in the heart.
It was one of my prayers because you're sharing with Kavita earlier was so beautiful. And yeah, this prayer still remained, and then you kind of pushed it away with your discussion with the Sangha brother here in the room. And then I thought, oh, what am I going to pray for now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Anna. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good job. Good. Papa.
You're like, this is no fun because we're not dancing. Anna was here for a couple of weeks or a few weeks, and then what would happen is we had to dance for what? For my birthday, was it? Or something? We had a bit of some bhajan singing and some dancing and things like this. After that, Anna would just come to me every satsang and she would be like, without words, you know, she'd just be telling me, okay, stop all this, start dancing, come, when are we dancing? Yes?
And eat your food as well.
Always enjoy. Always enjoy my children eating my food.
Thank you, Father. We are very blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to Varjo. Full love, full blessings, full love. Let's go to Jada.
Hello.
My dear. You know, your namesake has become very famous. Your namesake, Jada, spelled differently. She's making a lot of waves all over the world.
I couldn't get it.
You don't know this?
No.
Talk to me later. I'll tell you.
Huh?
Yeah. I was just making a joke which I thought everybody will resonate with, but nobody laughs also.
Even this makes me laugh. Okay. You always know what to do, Father. You know that I'm a little bit sad you're making joke.
I saw the little bit glum, you know, sadness. I had to start with a joke. It's not, I mean, it's such a silly thing. I don't want to spend more time on it, but I will after the broadcast, maybe.
It's not so easy to speak when you are so much entangled in your mind, and there is so much concept.
Yeah. Are you now?
Now is now.
No.
But
No.
I am is
No.
not now.
No matter how powerful the mind seems, and no matter how entangled we may seem to be with the mind, it cannot survive fresh God. Fresh God is here now.
It's going, the light.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I can see you.
Yeah, same.
Please give me a little time because I want to sit with you. You know, actually there is no problem, but just mine.
That's it. That's it. That could encapsulate the whole satsang. Every satsang. Actually, you know, there is no problem. It's only the mind. Finished.
So I'm not sure if I have to touch the mind and bring something to you, but I feel like Father, may I just ask for, I don't know,
Is the 1 week gap too much of the broadcast, I feel? Because last week when we met, or was it the week before that when we met, we were just in the heart so much. I was so happy to see. So just heart. No? So now, what made you go back into the war zone of the head?
What did you say? Sorry?
I said
What?
last week when we met, or the
Yeah.
week before that when you met, so beautifully you were in the heart. There was no trouble, nothing.
Father, it's still here. It's still there. It's not obscured. It's just, no, it's still there, this vastness. It's unchangingly, and really just you somehow revealed it.
Yeah.
It's there. You revealed it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's, you know, even what I'm experiencing, they were there, just life exposing them.
Yeah.
Now, and they are burping out because, yeah, this was my prayer.
That's very good. That's very good to hear, because these things will be vomited out. It's okay. It's okay. So, but what I want to tell you is that the house that you found in your heart, you can just live there. There's no problem. All the other things can buzz around a little bit. This is like that. It's okay. You see, sometimes something may get believed also, and it starts to poke you. It starts to make you suffer a little bit. Then it's good time to notice. Okay, what did I grasp? You see, what am I holding, which seems true from the head? And when it starts to pinch us, then it's good time to let it go and return to our home. It's just like we never left the home, but we just went on a daydream. A mental adventure.
Yeah, Father, I'm just so happy that whatever concept, even spiritual concepts are going around, and heart knows, and yeah, you have directed me to my heart, and yeah, so no problem. But one thing is that it's still here. And before I asked you also, like some weaknesses and not liking myself again present here. After I expose it to you, somehow such power and strength come from me. It's like as I always said my father works through me. But now, I don't know, it's like there is something lack in my character, not some muscles are being made, some weaknesses, and I just want to, it's I don't know, like for some English. I just want to ask for an authority. I don't know if it is okay to ask for this, but I feel like I need it. I just want to, yeah.
Authority. Maturity, authority. What is the word?
Authority. Authoritativeness.
Authority means what? In my English, not so good. What is the authority? Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I will. Like, okay, I'm not able to just give me a little time, Father.
Yes, yes. You can say in what are you translating from? Is it Arabic? What is the language?
English. Authority.
From what language?
Turkish.
Turkish, yes. Turkish.
It's same also, authority.
So, Turkish? What is the word?
We use the same word. Father, please.
No, I'm not even joking, because I feel like somebody could have translated from the Sangha that is here. Anyone else who knows Turkish?
I cannot understand now. I don't know what's the problem now. Like, you know, okay. Like I was It's like maybe I always want to be winner, and life was allowing me to be a winner all the time. But now it again doesn't allow me at all, even though I behave the same way. I'm not winner anymore, and it bothers me. I always want to win.
Certificate? Is authority like certificate? Like you want certificate, like a certificate or prize like that? What is authority? Like a what do you say? You know?
No, like what? Like no. Okay. Sorry, my head is gone. Maybe I cannot. Maybe there. Oh, sorry. Like I'm weak. I find myself weak. Okay, I can say that some people are really, their being are very respected, and I'm not. I'm always loud like a child, but I don't have this kind of strong presence, or this is what I say, authority, and I want this somehow.
Like you want to be like very respected and poised and speak in a fine manner. People should just sit around you and say, wow, like that.
When we talk like this, it seems funny, but I don't know.
What would that
look? I saw some people who has this kind of presence, and I just love to see it, you know.
Is it their presence, or is it now English, so demeanor? By presence, do you mean just the way they the body acts out is presence, or what do you mean by presence?
No, their very being, whatever they do, they are. It's not about doing. It's not about behaving. You know.
But being
just they are like this.
The being is the very same, my dear. It's the one being. So there is not one little bit of difference in the being. In fact, it is all of this is one being. You see? And it's not. Like all of this is and it's not. But there are no two beings. Like the presence, you see, is not the birthright of a particular body to have a particular type of presence. Do you mean the quality that you taste around some people like that, something like this? Or do you mean this?
Please repeat.
You mean the quality of the taste of their fragrance? Is it like this? When you're around?
No, not fragrance. Okay, I will give an example and it will clarify everything.
Oh, good.
So, inshallah. So, first time I will expose it. It's made me really sad. First time when I met with Guruji and then turned back to my country with another Sangha members, you know, we all came back in the same place. We have a gathering, Sufi gathering. Anyway, they were all just so shining, you know, with Guruji's light. It was just so easy. All the people just like, wow, what are they? It was in that way.
Yeah.
And someone came to me and was talking about one of our Sangha member and its light and all these things. And I oh my God, it's just so tragically comic. So tragically funny. So she came and told me this, and then I said, oh, I also went to Guruji, and she said, oh, you too? I mean, I was not able to. It's like, okay, fine. It's like I always feel like my character. Yeah, this is how I feel. My character, you know, I always feel your light, your love with me. But somehow this structure, it's like the light cannot move through this structure because it's not strong. I don't know. Yeah, like this. But when I
True, my dear. None of this, you must not believe any of this. It's not true.
Yeah, when I burp them, they just so meaningless. But I have to burp because they trouble me somehow.
It's good to expose this. It's good to expose this because many of us in all sanghas actually have this sense of unworthiness, and they feel like, look at everyone else, how they are shining. But if they knew what's happening with me, then they would just throw me out of sangha. Like, you know, most people have this kind of thing for some reason or the other, and it is completely not needed. I mean, it's not true, and it's not needed at all. Just not true. Whichever instrument you see is made available for God's light, fully available for God's light, that instrument has no option but to shine. It's not that the instrument is ever made badly. You don't ever believe that one particular instrument is made badly or something. It's not true. Whichever instrument truly surrenders to God's light in their heart, God's light has to shine from that instrument. God does not pick and choose like this. God does not pick and choose and say, oh, you? No. Maybe next life. God is not saying like that.
Thank you for listening my nonsenses, but I really have to expose them because they really, Father, these stupid things really somehow here, and yeah, maybe I can again believe, but they are nothing, because I know how also your presence is here and do its own work.
Don't worry about these things.
Oh my God, again, no problem, please. Wait, there is really no problem. It's strange.
Very good, very good, very good.
So, yeah.
Headless, 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 headless. What is to surrender to God's light? Same, headless. Stay in the unborn. Stay notionless. The same point.
But may I share one more thing?
Yes.
I want to also share this. You know, Sadhguru is coming to Turkey, and I really love him so much, and I'm so happy because no one comes to Turkey in general anyway. It's a great chance, and I'm so happy that I'm also given so much responsibility somehow in arrangement, and of course it's only by your grace that I can take such responsibility. But there is so much things in my mind, you know, like some people also before came and told me, do you have guru, why you are going to another or something? But I never see in that way, you know, it's like Muji Baba and finish. And now also after Guruji brought me to you, also you, I mean, finish. And of course I love them, but somehow they are speaking like this make me guilty, you know. I naturally love them. It's like I shouldn't love them. I'm now doing in service. I mean, I know that somehow I'm here and I feel totally okay with it, but it's like this thing I just wanted to expose. Just this.
Yes. Just follow your heart, you're fine. I want to tell you a story. We used to have, I hadn't started sharing satsang those days. This is from about 10 years ago. Maybe Jyotika may remember this, but one Sangha brother from Guruji Sangha came to Bangalore to visit, and he spent some time with us on Friday. Just I met him like this, and few were there. And the next day was the satsang DVD recording that we were playing of Guruji. So he said that next day he's visiting Sadhguru because Sadhguru is coming to Bangalore. The Guruji that calls himself Sadhguru, not the Sadhguru that we talk about in the heart. So he was coming to Bangalore. So he was asking me whether he should come and attend the DVD satsang or he should go to that session that was happening. So I said to him that he can follow his heart and whatever intuitive guidance. But in my heart, I felt like he's going to come for the DVD satsang, Guruji satsang. So, but he didn't come. So, but he met me like the Monday or a day after that. And I asked him, so where were you? So he said, I'm so happy that I went. No? So I said, how come you're happy that you went? He said, I'm so happy that I went because it was then that I realized that this is not for me. So follow your heart, but don't predict what your heart is going to show you. I'm not saying you'll have the same experience. You may feel very happy and you may feel that it is for you. But I'm just saying that instead of following some conceptual rules and guidelines, you can follow your heart. It'll always guide you in the right way.
I just wanted to share this thought. I don't want to hide or something. I just wanted to share because you are my father. So I just wanted to let you know, actually. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say that all the service I'm doing here, I just wanted to dedicate to Guruji.
Okay, let's go to Elena.
Hello.
Oh, my dear.
Nice to see you.
Same, same.
I do not really have a question. There was just a lot of anxiety here during the satsang, or I was almost falling asleep. So I thought I just raised my hand, and it's more quiet now. So
Good.
so that's why.
That sounds like a very strange satsang, actually. In the
Sorry.
sense, I'm just making a bit of a joke. Okay, so that sounds like a very strange satsang, where in the waking state it's just anxiety, and then deep sleep.
Yes. So I missed most of your the satsang. Just after I raised my hand, I was everything was calming down.
You were awake also, missed most of my satsang. It's okay.
Oh, then we can.
We have the recording. That's why.
Yes, we could. Then we can hear it twice. That was just.
Yeah, good. Don't worry. These things happen. You don't have to like force yourself too much to do something or not do something. That's okay.
Yes. Well. No question. Just thank you.
Thank you. All my love. Satyam, we can go.
Namaste, Ananta-ji.
Yeah.
I'm I really don't have anything to really say, but I'm just sitting with my mom here.
Acha. Namaste. She's feeling good now. She's happy. She's healthy now. She's
healthy. Her condition is stable, and it's been a ride. I've never served her so much as I've served in the last 1 month. So it has been. I've nothing planned. What I'm saying now is just we are here, and your words as usual. I have been driving the scooter. She's running a small meditation center in Rishikesh. This is 9 kilometers from Lakshman Jhula.
I see.
In the mountains. There's a river in front of the house.
Very nice. Sounds beautiful.
Yes.
I stay in the Osho commune. 20 years. Osho was in the body that time. Then all meditation.
So आप पुणे में थी 20 साल.
हाँ जी.
अच्छा.
ओशो कम्युन में ओशो थे बॉडी में, तो बहुत पैशन से मेडिटेशन किया सब, बहुत पैशन से. तो फाइनल तो 100 डिग्री करोगे तो फिर कुछ ना कुछ रिजल्ट तो मिलेंगे ही, है कि नहीं. मैं अपने साथ हमेशा महसूस करती हूँ प्रेजेंट महसूस करती हूँ. पर आपको देख के बहुत खुशी हो रही है.
मुझे भी बहुत आपको स्वस्थ और खुश देख के बहुत खुशी हो रही है.
अच्छा रास्ता है, यानी आप चेतना को जैसे एकदम नए लोग आते एकदम धक्का दे देते हो ना. वेरी गुड वे. बिकॉज वहां तक पहुंचाना बातों में हंसी में, दिस इज वेरी गुड. रियली वेरी गुड. Ramana Ashram also I went many times. Ramana Ashram, much time I spent there also. Because when I feel to, जब मैं महसूस करती हूँ कि मुझे काम करना है, तो मैं 100 डिग्री करती हूँ, बैठ जाती हूँ. ओशो कम्युन में भी किया, रमन आश्रम में पैसिव मेडिटेशन किया, ऐसा है। और सत्यम तो वहां पर रहा ही है ओशो कम्युन में। फिर वो सर आपके पास अभी तो आपको बहुत प्रेम है आपके साथ था सत्यम का, सत्यम अमूल जी का है ना। टोटल दिस इज टोटल।
आप भी आइए सत्यम के साथ जब आपकी तबीयत तो बिल्कुल
प्लान बना रहे हैं, तो मैं भी आऊंगी, ये भी आएगा, है ना।
हमारे पास भी कुछ आपके हो सकता है पुराने मित्रों, एक स्वामी जी हैं ओशो आश्रम से, वो पीछे बैठे हैं। हाँ, स्वामी समर्पण।
Yes, yes.
You know him?
This is the name he is taking Shiva maybe nowadays, no? हाँ।
अच्छा, ये पता नहीं मुझे, मैं पूछा ही नहीं जो लोग आते हैं। वो भी हमारे साथ कुछ हफ्ते से हैं यहाँ पे।
हाँ, बहुत ओशो सन्यासी आपके पास आते हैं।
और ये एक बच्ची भी है मीरा, वो
हाँ,
भी
मीरा भी है।
साल में थी वहाँ पे 2008-9। आप आइए, बहुत अच्छा लगेगा हमसे।
आऊंगी बेंगलोर जरूर आना है, इस तरह में बात कर।
Really nothing to say, Anantaji, but it's during the day, sometimes these pointers, some pointers they really come, and not just intellectually, but they really go deep from what you say, or from like stay as you are, and it would just come and really take the whole thing down, as to say, because the habit for identification as the seeker, or when it starts, then some pointers will just come. So, and they just take down the whole, as to say, the whole showdown.
All my love, all my love.
So grateful for your words.
Love. Much love to both.
Thank you.
Let's go to Poonam.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste, my dear.
I just wanted to expose something. Then last time I spoke to you, then after that next satsang was like just in the beginning, I just realized that space, that openness, that emptiness, and I was so feeling good that, and it was just for as a glimpse. It was not, it didn't stay. But after that, there was a great, like, it happened because of you. So I just go to you and it will be easy.
Ajo. Not possible to come, is it?
No, but then there was a thought, I don't want to work on myself and I just want to grab it easily.
You know that every thought is just a thought. Don't give too much value to any of these. Just a thought. It came, it went. It may come back again. It's okay.
And then there was the feeling that I'm not worthy and still I'm demanding.
Nobody is unworthy. Nobody is unworthy. All of you are God. All of you are consciousness, one consciousness. All of us are one consciousness. So these ideas of separation, of unworthiness, or qualification, and how devoted we are, all of this is just in the mind. Don't worry. None of it is true. How does it matter which thought pops up?
Yeah, but sometimes I just strongly believe in all those things and then get involved in all these things.
So those which you end up believing in, those you can surrender or inquire into.
Only one good thing is there, like there was so many things which I was not aware in my own, like these things are inside me and those are getting revealed.
Yes.
And
but don't say revealed, say released. Revealed is halfway. Don't say revealed, say they're getting released. Finish.
Yeah.
You see? I didn't realize so much was here, which I didn't know. Now it is getting exposed and it is going. Released, not revealed.
You always make it simple.
That is the attempt, actually. That is the attempt, because all of this spirituality, the spiritual notions, what are we talking about? We're talking about God. We're talking about existence. We're talking about the self. Now, how can any of these things be far or difficult or need qualifications? How could it be possible that there is a God who has said, no, Poonam has to be 95% on the scorecard of devotion, 90% on the scorecard of inquiry. Only then she will pass through my door. What kind of God would that be? Would somebody want a God like that who's a school teacher, a headmaster God? It's not like that. So God is the very simplicity of your being, of your existence. What can create distance between you and God? What travel do you have to do to meet God? You're right that it is the spiritual constructs which have been given to point us to this in some way, and they've served their purpose at some level. But now that you're in such a direct sort of environment, you can just come to the direct insight of it rather than rely on those concepts now.
Yeah. I just want to surrender at your feet because I get so much stuck in all these things sometimes. It seems so difficult to come out of it.
Yeah.
Then I feel so much entangled and then feel frustrated. Oh my God, I can't do it.
And most of this is spiritual, right?
Right, most of the time. Yes, still material is also there. It's not that it is gone because identification is still there. But yes, there is a little bit opening because earlier I was like one with that identification. There is some gap now.
So will you surrender your spiritual encyclopedia to me today?
Yes, definitely, because I'm fed up with all these things.
Very good, very good. You were here when we were talking about confusion?
No, because first hour I missed. Someone came and then I had to attend.
No problem.
Then first hour I missed.
You can hear the recording, which will clarify a lot of this for us.
Right.
All this spiritual confusion and frustration and suffering is because of our need to draw conclusions. Need to make an idea about ourselves. But yourself is so big, it is so broad, it is so vast that no idea is possible to make about it.
Yeah, all these things actually I realized into this something like most of the time I'm trying to conclude, okay, fine. Now I understood. Okay, no, I don't. Still I'm hanging on this. Still I'm doing this. All these things just going on all the time.
Very good. Now you spotted it. You see, your spotting it is more than enough. You see, there's nothing else you can do but notice. Because if you start to think about it, then you will start feeling guilty, unworthy, all that.
Yeah, it is. It goes on. It's not that it doesn't, but it sometime I start, and then what happens? Ki like I start thinking of thinking. Ki, no, I'm thinking again.
Exactly. Thinking about thinking is meta thinking. Meta thinking is just thinking also.
Yeah. Then there is a like awareness. Ki, okay, again I'm thinking of thinking. That's a, like circle. Again and again I'm into that, and I feel like I'm actually roaming round and round, and nothing else is happening.
Without your head,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah, sometimes there is a doubt also, like
Right now.
you actually.
My dear, let's try together, okay? Right
Okay.
now, without your head, what is your condition?
Actually nothing, and I
Slow.
cannot make it
That was
out.
too fast. That was too fast. Slowly. There's no rush. Don't worry who's watching, what's happening. Nothing. Just take your time. Now again, open and empty, fresh, 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 empty, empty, empty. The blackboard is all clean. Now let everything come and go. Everything come and go. It's fine. Now, if there is a fragrant report from your heart, which is conveying your condition, you can share that. Otherwise, trust the silence more.
Nothing is coming.
Take your time. Don't worry.
Actually, here I feel most of the time I just go blank.
That's
And
right.
then
The whole theme in some way of today's satsang is trust the silence of your heart more than you trust the highest words of your head. See? So even the silence of the heart is worth much more than our highest conclusions in the head.
here doubt comes like I have numbed the feeling and I have numbed everything. That is why I'm not feeling anything.
So that is all in the head, no? That is all.
Yeah.
So
This
now,
all comes.
yeah. So let it come. We are not bothered about what is coming in the head. No?
Okay.
We spent enough time worrying about that. Now let it happen. Whatever is going on in the head, don't worry. It's like traffic on the road. You don't have to count how many red cars, how many blue cars, how many yellow cars. Doesn't matter. This traffic is flowing and let it flow. Just become open and empty like that. And then tell me what your heart is saying, if anything at all.
Nothing is coming. It's just that I feel like it's incomplete.
Yes, but that's not your heart's fragrance.
No, maybe I'm searching the feeling of completeness because those glimpses gave me that feeling. Maybe I'm searching that feeling.
Evaluative tendency of evaluating is also in the mind only. The heart is not looking at some other experience and saying,
no. Actually, there is like nothing like that. There is nothing, and it is not looking also, it is not searching, but these things are coming up. And then I get confused. No, I'm still doing something wrong.
Don't look for any satisfaction in the mind. Don't look for any conclusion, some final idea. Let the mind be confused. Don't worry.
Why do I feel stuck all the time? Like it's just there is a wall and I'm not able to go beyond that.
Yes, because the mind proposes this to you. In reality, it's impossible to be stuck. Because stuck implies that you have to go somewhere. You see, only if you have to go somewhere can some obstacle come and you get stuck, no? Now, if you didn't have to go anywhere only, it is your reality. It is your reality itself. Then there's no notion of being stuck.
Maybe these things are like glued in my this thing, and I feel like, I'm doing everything wrong, and then I'm not honest and all that.
You can smell this voice. You can smell the voice from your head.
Yeah, that's clear now. Earlier I couldn't recognize, but now I can see it's head.
That itself is so beautiful, because most of humanity doesn't even realize that the voice in the head is not their voice.
Okay.
Not a true.
No. Yes.
So if
there is a difference.
For one who can recognize this, for one who can recognize that this is not fragrant, it is not coming from my heart, it is smelly, that itself is a great gift.
Yeah. Immediately position shifted, actually.
Don't track yourself. Don't have to be policeman of spirituality. Just aram se. Just open it.
Sometimes I just feel I'm not open and I'm not empty. Maybe this is also head. I need to say this.
Not maybe.
Yeah.
Don't judge yourself in any way.
Yes. Thank you, Father. Thank you so much.
Very good. Everybody is fully worthy, fully deserving, fully here. God is their very presence. There is no exception to this rule. There is nobody's house where God is not living. There is nobody's heart which is empty of the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
All is very good. All is very good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go to Paula.
Hello, Father.
Yeah.
I can't see you.
Can't see me? Okay, now you.
Yeah, now. I'm not sure what to say now. It was just such a pull to come to you.
Yes.
You just said a few moments ago that don't judge yourself in any way.
Yes.
And maybe there's been a lot of judgments lately about behavior.
Yes, yes. So drop them.
Say again?
Drop them. Saying drop.
Yes. Yeah, no, not now, not now. But just to make sure that probably having them again. I don't know.
No, we're not able to hear you so well now. Just sure.
Maybe that they're not coming again in the future. Maybe that's why I'm bringing them again. I don't know.
As long as it's not about good, some of them have been true. As long as it's not about that, it's all right.
What do you mean? I don't understand that.
Sense that you said that some judgments came because of some activities in the body, some judgment came. Then I said drop them, you said already drop. Then you said that there's some fear about them coming back. You see? But it's not their coming back which is the problem. It is the potential they could have of your belief. You see, because thoughts can keep back, that's okay. So the fear is about whether if they come back, there's still an attraction to the truths, apparent truth that they could be speaking about you. You see? That you can surrender. That you can surrender. Because the fear is about the judgment is gone now, but maybe it was actually true and it is going to come back and trouble me. You see? So you can surrender that right now. Because it's not true. The head is not big enough to judge anything actually.
You know that maybe what I feel is about that I'm still looking for experiences and satisfy the cravings of body, mind, and all that, and that it's probably true. I don't know, but that is the belief, maybe.
You don't have to fight this war. You don't have to fight this war. You just live in the heart. In any case, after 2 months you're here, we'll take care of you. Not that the war in the head doesn't have to be here, but we'll take care of you.
Yes, and I feel that since I knew I was coming to Bangalore, all this started to come.
It happened like this. It happened like this. You see, it can happen like this, that sometimes it's not just, it feels like it's not just my mind which is fighting now, resisting coming or resisting being in satsang. It's like the whole Leela is now trying to stop me. You see?
It feels like that. It's like all the possible temptations are coming. And
Guruji actually told me this years ago, because one time we were going to attend his retreat and everything was happening. Everything at work, people were quitting and people like, you can't go. Clients were saying, no, you stay, then we'll close this big deal. My son broke his hand, so we had plaster on his wrist. So we called him, we called him and said, Father, all these things are happening. And he said, before he could even hear, he said, just come. And he said, this is the 4th call today I'm getting. All these people who are getting various things happening. You see? And before he said, before I answered only, it was clear, my answer, that just come.
Yes.
You don't actually have to wait to come. You can
yes, I know.
meet your heart right now.
Yes, and just in case, I just ask for your. I know I have it, of course, but the blessing of that nothing stops my coming to Bangalore.
Full blessing. Full blessing is for whatever grace, strength, whatever your heart needs. To stay away from all these destructive tendencies. May your heart full of light, full of love, full of grace, full of strength. All my beloved with you. You stay with me here. Nothing will touch you. Nothing will touch you.
Thank you, Father. Love you so much. I'm just fully with you. Nothing more than this for you, with you.
All right, done. Vikas, was your hand up from last time or did you want to come up again? You want to come again?
Yes, thank you. I've just because 1 hour ago I didn't say my question so exactly. It's more that when you say leave that or leave that instrument or without your mind or drop that all the sayings, then my mind tries to do something often or try to go with the attention away from the thoughts. So there's some doing or movement, and I just want to ask that's not the way it meant to be, or?
No.
No. Okay.
It's just meant to be like what we did earlier, no? In the short guidance, it's just meant to be like that. Just.
Okay, just let come and go.
Become an open house.
Yeah.
All doors and windows open. Everything can come, everything can go. Nobody is judging, interpreting, monitoring, concluding. None of these things are happening.
Okay, that's the way of leaving that instrument. Okay. Okay, because sometimes you mix it when you guide us, you say open and empty, and sometimes you just say leave it or without the mind. And then in my experience, it happens with these words of you that sometimes it really leaves that the belief goes away from the thoughts. And so my question is it okay to say these words to myself like you do it?
Yeah, there's no template like that. You have to go with what your heart is guiding in that moment.
Yes.
Because there's no word which is actually capturing the thing. And it is very important to confuse all of you all the time.
Of course, because sometimes I try to do it like you do it with me then. So like just say myself, okay, just leave it or something like this.
Yeah.
Is it?
Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't work. There's no magic potion. You just have to follow your heart. That is the magic potion. But moment to moment, sometimes it'll say hold it, sometimes it'll say leave it, trust it, it's okay.
Okay, yeah, and too
you
much.
Became completely clear in your head. You see? Yeah. If you became completely clear in your head, you wouldn't leave it.
Yes, yeah. I'm somehow looking too much for like solutions on this mind and speaker level still.
The only solution to mind is no mind.
Yeah.
Not in the
mind. How to get there?
How to get there is to be, don't give anything, it is saying value. Give value to anything, even though it may sound super helpful, very useful. It'll get you there. You see, it may sound like this, but even then, compared to this pointing from the mind, stay with the silence of your heart or the guidance of your heart. If there is no guidance apparent, then stay with the silence of your heart.
Yeah. Even that thoughts, if I now think this and that, then it will help me. This is also a bait, isn't it? Okay.
Creating a new construct, like we're creating a new practice, we're creating a new religion of sorts. But the attempt is not to do that.
Yeah, and then when I don't do it, so sometimes it just work and I'm so to say in and it's wonderful, okay. But sometimes when I don't do that, I'm feeling totally helpless as a seeker. And the seeker is like, oh my God, I can't do it, and I'm so identified. And
I want to tell you one thing, that more than any of this, it is this checker guy, no, who is checking on what happens to you. That is the most oppressive. The one who is making report card and says, this work, this doesn't work. I have to do that more. I have to do this less. I have to find more like this that can work all the time. What is it that I can find that can always work? Oh, but it worked earlier. Now it stopped working. You see, so this guy, this checker guy, which will take everything it hears in satsang. I haven't said this for a long time. I say this in every satsang earlier, that my arch nemesis, you see, my arch nemesis is this checker guy, because it will use everything it hears from here also and says, like this. Okay, now I know what to do. This will work. See? Then it will sit there in judgment, saying, okay, am I aware now? Ananta says, are you aware now? Am I aware now? Oh, I'm still feeling some constriction. It didn't work. You see? But it's not the constriction which is troubling you, it's this one, this report card guy, checker guy.
Yeah.
Surrender it. Don't bother about your progress or condition. It will make you scared. It will say, but then I'll just let go. Maybe I become, non-spiritual. I'll forget about God.
Yes, that's my mind saying, yes, for example.
It won't happen. These are the common tactics. It won't happen like that.
Or what my mind mostly say then I don't make progress.
Don't make progress.
I'm just stuck. Yeah.
Please don't make progress.
Please don't make oh God. Oh my God. Okay.
None of you please make any progress. This progress is keeping you on the spiritual treadmill which is never ending. How are you progressing this? Before the click, progress. So a simpler way of saying that is, leave your progress to me. You stay like this.
The deal, yeah? The deal number 4 it was. Yeah.
Okay, like this, yes. I have to remember the deals I made. I have no idea.
Because my checker guy is so strong, that's why I remember all the deals.
This is the thing also. Just instead of forcing yourself so much, just make a poster or something in front of you. And if something is poking you, just go back and read it. Don't have to trouble yourself in the head so much.
Yeah, then this helplessness comes. The helplessness of the seeker comes.
Does helplessness come in headlessness?
What again?
Does helplessness come in headlessness?
Yeah, when it comes in headlessness, it's no problem.
Exactly. So it's not helplessness.
Yeah.
Only helplessness can come when you're not headless.
Yeah.
So 3 instructions for you.
Okay.
Remember it, the checker guy, remember it well. Okay. Headless.
Okay. Yeah.
Headless.
So
headless.
If I really follow it, because I feel it's such an addiction or compulsion to make this checker seeker thing.
Start now. I'm not buying any of this. Start now. Everybody can start now. Start now. That's it. Nothing is stronger than consciousness. Nothing is compulsive or addictive for consciousness. I'm not going to treat you less than what you really are. You are consciousness. You are God. You are the highest being. Just because you are underselling yourself I am not going to. No thought is strong enough to make you bend.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for all that pointers. I feel it was really helpful at the moment for me individually or in general for everybody. I hope so.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Good, good, good. Let's have some music. know what that bhajan was about? It's the traditional way of saying zero baby. Please. There's a line there, it's composed by Kabir Ji. So the line goes, I may be wrong about one or two of the words, but Shunya Shikhar par Anhad bajegi.
Anhad bajam.
Shunya Shikhar. Shunya is zero. Shikhar is the peak of zero. And Had is beyond all bounds. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Satguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Satguru Shri Ananta-Part ki Jai. Guru Kripa Kevala.